Well, hello, remote students. Welcome back to another awesome week here in remote land. I hope everything is going great for you guys. I first off want to tell you guys, thank you guys so much for being awesome. You guys have been doing a phenomenal job on doing all your homework, zooming in when needs to be zoomed, so keep up the great work. I know you guys are working hard. So I'm going to share my screen, but I also really wanted to show you guys this pretty cool quote. I get a new quote every day. And so this quote is from our morning mindset, and it says, "Our days are happier when we give people a bit of our heart rather than a piece of our mind." So let's take a think about that. So we got done with our coffee bean story last week, and I am just inspired by that story. I know we didn't get to finish it all, but we got the main point across about how we had a choice in every day of life of being an egg, a carrot, or a coffee bean. So I hope all of you guys are using your gifts and talents as a coffee bean of spreading that strong pot of coffee around everywhere instead of letting your environments transform you. You transform the environment from the inside out, starting with yourself. And remember, we talked about how we need to love ourselves. So, yes. So as we are out with other people, we will get in contact with other people. It is very important that we give people our hearts rather than a piece of our mind. Sometimes a person does not need to hear what we're saying. They just need to know that we're truly there for them and that we're listening to them. So with that being said, we have a love formula. So courage plus gratitude plus forgiveness plus compassion equals the choose love formula. So think about, what is courage? What is gratitude? What is forgiveness? And what is compassion? So if this was in class, we would do an open discussion, but I want you to think to yourself what those different characteristics there are. Courage is, like we use the word, you were courageous. Way to be a stellar person in a courageous situation of doing the right thing when times get tough, or have the courage to do things that you might feel uncomfortable with. Gratitude, being thankful for what you have, who you are, and what you represent. Forgiveness is forgiving each other. They say that we should forgive 365 more times to fully forgive someone, even though sometimes it may have hurt our heart. What is compassion? It's kind of like compassion with our lesson last year that we did with empathy and sympathy, which we'll redo again this year, but in a different element and light. So compassion of really truly being there for the person and fully caring for them. So think about this and how we can show love in the best way, because this year our theme is finding our personal best of our success, and this formula here will get you to that success point. So moving on to something called mindfulness. Now, what is mindfulness? Some of us might be thinking, yeah, it's our yoga or our breathing techniques that we do. And yes, you guys are right, but it's a little bit more. Mindfulness is being fully present. I'm talking anywhere from your senses, from your head to your toe. You have to be fully present for this in the moment, and you have to be in control of what your body connections are doing to each other. You have to be in control of how your emotions are displaying. What am I doing in this time? How am I truly feeling? How is my body doing? Are my arms flapping like a bird? But yes, mindfulness, being fully present and knowing exactly what you are doing in every single second throughout that situation. So, like we said before, we do a lot of breathing with mindfulness, which is a great way to become one with yourself. So I want you to take a couple of deep breaths with me. So we'll breathe in, then we'll breathe out. Now, this seems like kindergarten things that we're doing, but I want you to abstract think. What did we just do in that breath when we breathed in and then we breathed out? So think about that. I'm not looking for how long you were able to breathe in or breathe out. I'm looking for maybe temperature. Did you guys notice that when you breathed in that it was colder, and when you breathed out it was warmer? That's kind of what we're thinking. So that's why mindfulness is so impactful, because normally when we need to do mindfulness, we are struggling, and sometimes our blood pressure and body temp's a little bit warm. So when we breathe in deep breaths, we are cooling the inside and we're exhaling it out so we can start slowly calming down. So I want us to take a moment. I'm going to take a minute, and we are simply just going to sit here. But I want you guys to focus on what is your sight, what's your smell, what do you hear, if you taste anything, and what can you feel. So we'll take one moment. So take that minute. All right, I know that wasn't quite fully a minute, but a couple of things I want you to come in depth of how you were thinking. So sight. I am looking at my office wall. Very beautiful. I'm not just looking at the tan wall. I am looking at the little bumps in the wall. My wall is textured, is what I'm looking at. There's some bumps. There are some little gashes in it. But that's the detail I'm looking for. What can I hear? I can hear people talking outside my office. I can hear my clock ticking. And then I can also hear the wind. It's pretty, it's rainy today. So that's what I can hear. What can I feel? I'm not currently holding anything, but I was feeling my jacket on my fingers, and that was kind of a rough texture. It's a jean jacket, so yeah, a rougher texture, like a very dull sandpaper. Taste, I currently am not really tasting anything, so there really wasn't nothing there. And then what can I smell? I have my Scentsy pot burning right now, and so I'm smelling a nice, vibrant, fresh spring day smell, which is glorious. So that hopefully will help reset us for a little bit. We are going to watch this little 2-minute video of mindfulness. So let's pay attention, okay?
It's so easy to go through the hustle and bustle of our days without really noticing the world around us. Our minds replay the past and predict the future, and we lose connection with our present moment experience. Today, I invite you to try the simple visual exercise of being mindful in your present moment. Next time you go for a walk, maybe through the office, maybe out in the city, even around your block, find one thing to really look at. Could be a flower, a building, a picture, whatever it is. Just stop for a few seconds. Notice the shape of the object. Notice the outline that defines it. Notice how there are areas of lightness and of shadow, and how these blend into each other. Notice the texture of the surface. Is it rough or smooth, grainy or polished? Notice the range of colors. And now imagine you were to take a photo of this object. How would you frame it? What angle would you shoot from to capture it best? And now notice how your attention has been focused purely on this one object, this one aspect of the world around you. Start to expand your awareness now. Look around. Notice all the other objects. I hope you find a chance to apply this to your day, to take a few moments to stop and appreciate what is happening right here, right now.
Alrighty, so that there is a really good video to kind of decompress of how mindfulness is supposed to look. A lot of times I like to go outside and just kind of walk around. So I'm gonna stop sharing my screen for a second. Okay, there I am back. So they decided to take a look at an object and be a little decisive about it. So I have a jar right here. I'm gonna try to let you look at it the best that you can. If you were to describe this, how would you describe that? It said, for instance, on that leaf, you don't look at the whole leaf, you start looking at the details first. So in this detail of a jar, what might you look first at? Some of you guys might see the little bit of grooves that are in the lid right here and how some of them are textured. Some of you guys might see the grooves right here. Some of you guys might talk about how transparent it is so that you can see from one side to the next. Some of you guys might go for the fill. It's not a real glass jar. It's actually a plastic jar. You might go for the tap. And it's a very thin metal, so it's not like a hard metal. So those are the kinds of things that we're kind of looking for when we're being mindful. We have to examine the things from the inside out. And that's like the whole transformation thing of our coffee bean. We transform from the inside out. So, yes. And I understand that these little twinkly lights right here are probably getting in the way. And then there's Kevin, my favorite penguin. But anyway, I have up on my wall, my stars will light up with the sky. And so I put this up on my wall this year because you guys are my stars. And you guys are capable of doing so many great things in your life. And I can't wait to be there for you and watch you guys succeed. So this year, you guys are my stars. And we're going to start lighting up the sky. Kind of like how we're going to also start doing a strong coffee pot. So I'm going to reshare my screen now. And we will get going on the rest of this lesson. Okay. So reflecting on COVID experience. School looks very different, and we've all been blessed with this wonderful challenge of COVID-19, and I'm so very excited that I get to be a part of it with you guys. So what changes have you noticed, and what changes have had an impact on your life during the time of COVID? I'm going to give you guys a couple of seconds to think about that, and I will share a couple of things that I've noticed, but it's all for the better of it. Remember, this year we have to have transformation in order to be optimistic. Those are the two big words that we're going to be focusing on this year: is transformation and being optimistic. So the ability to learn new things even though we might feel uncomfortable. And then when we get the optimism in us, and that's when the transformation starts happening from the inside out. So, quick second to let you think. So a couple of things that have happened this year for me as a counselor is I now get to teach my lessons twice. I get to record these for you guys and post them since we can't be here in person. And then I also get to do them live with the classroom. We are also doing different types of lessons. Last year I would do a lot of like hands-on in our escape rooms. This year I can't do that. And then I think our biggest one is having to wear a mask so that I know that everyone is safe. That's another thing. I'm a very facial expression person because I like talking about our feelings and emotions. So I'm not quite able to show you guys my bright face and all the emotions I like to do when I'm wearing a face mask when I teach classrooms. But you guys are extra special, and you guys get to see my face and all the wonderful facial expressions that come out of it. So if you guys have, get out a piece of paper and a pencil. And for you guys can just use the whole rectangle. You don't have to draw a rectangle. You can just use a normal sheet of piece of paper. And with this, I would like for you to fill your suitcase with any thoughts or ideas, phrases that are in your mind. And these can be any type of thought. So a couple of thoughts that I might have is what's for dinner. I did get a haircut this weekend, but most of you guys don't notice because I keep my hair one style. Another thing is, are we going to have a football game this Friday? Some things might look differently for you as students of how am I going to do on this test if we got a spelling test or math test. Am I going to understand my reading unit today? Am I going to need help with math? So you write down all those feelings and thoughts, just kind of do like a brain dump on your paper. And then after that, put a circle around the thoughts that you think about multiple times a day. So I don't know, for instance, like the food one, what am I having for dinner? I think about food all the time because I like food, but it may not have to necessarily be dinner. You can circle it like when you think about it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Or if you got this really big daunting math test, you could circle that. And then put a rectangle around thoughts you have every day. So maybe it's about what time I need to get up for school. That's something that you'll have a reoccurring thought. And then put a star next to those that come to your mind every once in a while or weekly. Hopefully this here will help prioritize of how your thoughts need to go. So mindfulness. We'll introduce our cognitive, which is our wonderful brain triangle. So we have these thoughts that we've written in our suitcases, and thoughts are what we think, effects of how we feel and act. So everything starts out as a thought, happens in our wonderful noggin. So thoughts can either turn into emotions or behaviors. And this is where I come in handy. This is what my job basically comes off of. I get to help you guys sort out your thoughts and help categorize them into efficient behaviors and emotions for proper. And sometimes they don't come out, and that's fine. But this is how it goes. Sometimes we have a thought of, I'm going to fail this spelling test. Our emotions is that we might feel sick to our stomach, we might feel sad, and our behaviors might be in class, we just don't want to work because we have that thought that was pretty daunting at first. So this is kind of what the triangle is all about. Not gonna keep you guys too long, but I am so gratefully thankful to see you guys again today. And I hope you guys are doing wonderfully well. And a lot of my other students, I tell them I love you guys. And my little kids, we put whole body hearts to represent a hug because we can't hug you guys. So I hope you guys are being fantabulous, awesome students this week. Have a great rest of your week. And remember, you guys are my stars. So let's start lighting up the sky, okay? I'll see you next week.